Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, part 2 Networking and Internet. Today's topic is network devices, repeater, hub, bridge, switch, router, gateway. These are the basic 6 network devices which we are going to study today. Now the first question that arises is, what are network devices? Network devices are basically the electronic devices which we use to communicate between the devices on a computer network, that is the nodes connected in the computer network. Let us discuss these devices one by one. Repeater. Repeater is the network device used to restore the input signal to its original form so that it can travel a larger distance. It is a two-port device which operates at the physical layer. As you can see, this is a repeater. Now let us understand how does repeater work through an example. Here, first network is connected to second network and second network is connected to third network. When signal is transmitted from first point of first network to the last point, the signal becomes too weak to be transmitted to the first point of second network. So, we use a repeater between network first and network second. By doing so, the signal is regenerated at its original strength and it can travel a larger distance. Now, what do we mean by two-port device? A device which has a single output port and a single input port is called a two-port device, which operates at the physical layers. As we know, there are 7 layers of the OSI model. So, the repeater works on one of its layer, that is physical layer. Hub. Hub is basically a multi-port repeater. That means it connects several lines instead of only 2 cables, and those lines are called cable segments. For example, as we studied in the example of repeater, it was connecting only 2 cables. But when we use a hub, it connects many cables that are called cable segments. The hub comprises of several input-output ports. That is, it is a networking device, each of which is connected to a single port, and every port is connected to a single port. It cannot filter data. The hubs cannot filter data, so data packets are sent to all connected devices. That is, whenever we are sending any data packet to the hub cannot determine that to which port it is to be sent. So it sends the data to all the devices connected to it. As you can see, this is the hub. Here in this example you can see there are multiple ports in the hub and each port is connected to a single port. Hub can be further divided into active hub and passive hub. Bridge. Bridge is a multi-port device used for connecting two or more LAN. It operates at data link layer. It can filter data by reading the MAC address of source and destination. It is a two-port device. As you can see here, the bridge is connecting 3 LAN networks. So, whenever the bridge connects the LAN network, then it works as a multi-port device. And usually it is a two-port device. That is, it has a single output port and a single input port. The bridge operates at data link layer and it can filter data. As we read in the hub, it cannot filter data, but bridge can filter data by reading the MAC address of source and destination. Source is the place from where the data is coming and destination is the place to where the data is going. Switch. Switch is a multi-port bridge with a buffer used to connect individual nodes in the network with each other. It is a data link layer device. As we know, in a bridge there are only two ports, whereas in a switch there are multiple ports. So a switch is a multi-port device and it also has a buffer. A buffer is a device which stores the data coming to it, checks the data and then sends the data to the correct port. The switch is used to connect individual nodes in the network with each other. Switch works on the data link layer. This is a switch. Here you can see there are multiple ports and every port is connected to an individual node. Router. Router is another network device which is just like a switch. It is used for connecting various networks, LAN or WAN, with each other. It routes the data packets according to their IP addresses. It is a network layer device. As you can see, it is a router. Let us understand the use of router through an example. Here you can see there are multiple ports in the router. The router sends data packets based on their IP addresses. The router basically works on the network layer. Normally, routers are used for connecting LAN or WAN together. Gateway. Gateway connects networks based on different protocol technologies to communicate with each other. It may be thought of as a router equipped with software for protocol conversion. This is a gateway. Let us understand the use of gateway with an example. Here you can see these are gateways. When the data is transmitted from this network to the gateway receives it, interprets it and then sends it to the receiver. So, gateways basically act like protocol converters and they can operate at any network layer. Gateways are generally more complex than switch or router. As we have discussed here, the gateway may be thought of as a router equipped with software for protocol conversion. Why is it so? We studied in a router that router is a multi-port device which routes data packets based on their IP addresses. A gateway is just like a router with an advanced technology that it has a software for protocol conversion. That is, if this network is working on some other protocol and this network is working on some other protocol, then the gateway will interpret the message of this network and then it will transmit the message to this network so that it can understand that message. Now our next topic is network types on the basis of geographical span. We can classify the network on the basis of geographical span into four types, that is personal area network, local area network, metropolitan area network and wide area network. Let us understand them one by one. Personal area network. It is the computer network used for communication among computer and devices close to one person like PC, printer, telephones, etc. It may include wired and wireless devices and it can extend up to 10 meters. Suppose I am standing here and these are the devices that are kept near to me. Then I can connect to these devices either by wireless mean or wired means. Then this network will be called as personal area network. Local area network. Local area network is basically a private network and it can extend up to 1 kilometer. It is very useful for sharing resources and data storage among the people in a small area. The small area can be an office, a home, or a school. The LAN may only consist of one computer or 1,000 computers. That means it is possible that the nodes in the local area network may be either one, or they may even be 1,000 computers. LANs are cheaper and provide high transmission of data with better security. Generally, the local area networks are cheaper and they provide very high transmission of data, and that too with better security. That means local area network is secure network. Here you can see this is the main server to which these nodes are connected, and these nodes are connected in a small area, so they are forming the local area network, that is LAN. There is another example. This is an example within a building where we have connected a PC with another PC, a printer, another node, and a headphone. And as these are connected within a building, so they are forming a local area network. Here there is another example, that is LAN within a campus where the PCs are connected together. Metropolitan area network. It is used to establish links within a city, and it can extend up to 50 km. The network which establishes its links within a city is called a metropolitan area network, and its radius is generally about up to 50 kilometers. The MAN consists of a computer network which covers an entire city called its campus. Means the area which the metropolitan area network will cover will be known as its campus. MAN is larger than a LAN. As we know that MAN is covering the entire city and the LAN covers a small area. So MAN is larger than a LAN, and MAN can be formed by joining several LANs together. Here you can see the office building network, the university campus network, the government building network, and the network of residential area. All are connected to the metropolitan area network, and they together form the metropolitan area network. Here is another example where the several LANs have been connected together to form a single MAN, that is metropolitan area network. So whenever we connect several LANs together, they also form the metropolitan area network. Now next is wide area network. Wide area network spans a segment of about 1,000 kilometers. As the name suggests, wide, that means it covers a wide area, and that wide area is about up to 1,000 kilometers. It is used for long distance communication, that is even across the countries. It is well suited for connecting remote areas, that is the areas where we cannot go. We can connect those areas with the help of wide area network. As we saw that MAN may be made up of several LANs, similarly wide area network can be made of various LANs and MANs. Wide area network establish links within a country or even a continent. Here you can see that Paris LAN, New York LAN and London LAN are connected together, and these together form the wide area network. Here it is another example where two MAN and a LAN and some another computers are connected together, and these all are forming the wide area network. Now our next topic is network topology. What is a network topology? The arrangement of nodes in a network is called network topology. That means the way of connecting nodes with each other in a network is called network topology. There are broadly two types of topologies. First is broadcast topologies and second is point-to-point topologies. Let us understand what are these. Broadcast topologies share the same physical link, like in the bus and ring topology. Bus and ring topology are the example of broadcast topology, as in these we share the same physical link in all the nodes. In point-to-point topologies, every pair of nodes has a dedicated link. That means every node will have a specific link. And the example of point-to-point topologies are star and mesh topology. Bus topology. In bus topology, there is a main cable known as backbone cable. As you can see here, this is the backbone cable. There are different tabs that connect the different network devices with the main backbone cable. And at the end of the bus topologies, we use the terminators. The bus topology requires less cabling. It is easy to install and extend the network laid using it. In bus topology, fault detection and isolation is difficult. Fault detection is basically the process of finding that where is the actual fault happening, and isolation means that a node remains separate from the other nodes. But in the bus topologies, a message sent to one node will be transmitted to every node, so it becomes difficult for a computer to have isolation. Here is another example of bus topology. Now ring topology. As the name suggests, all the devices are attached through cable in the form of ring. The message is transmitted only in one direction. Here fault detection and isolation is easy. Here you can see the computers are connected in the form of ring and the flow of messages only in one direction. Star topology. In star topology, all devices are connected to central controller called hub. It can be easily installed and configured. Fault detection and isolation is easy, but hub failure will lead to network failure. As we discussed here, the hub is the central controller. So, if the hub will fail, the entire network will fail, because the hub is the main controller of the network. Now, mesh topology. In mesh topology, every node is connected to every other node in the network. So, it appears to be a mesh. It is hard to install and configure, as we have to connect every single node to every another single node. Secure data transfer without any traffic problem, as we are sending and connecting each node to every other node, so it provides better security. Here you can see every computer is connected to every other computer. This pic may look as a meshy one, so you can see here this computer is connected to this computer, this and this also, and similarly all computers are connected to each other, and similarly in this pic. Tree topology. Tree topology is basically a hybrid topology, and it is a combination of star and bus topology. Star networks and even individual nodes of tree topology are connected to the main backbone cable. Here we can suppose the individual nodes as branches of tree and the main backbone cable as stem of tree. Here you can see how it is forming a tree topology. Different individual nodes and even the star networks are connected to the main backbone cable and they are forming the shape of tree. Thus, it is a tree topology. This is another example. Here you can see this is a star topology. This is an individual node and similarly they are connected with the backbone cable and this is forming the tree topology. It is a main point to be noted that damage to any one segment or any node will not affect another nodes, but if the main backbone cable is damaged, then the entire network will disrupt. Now today's last topic is identification of computers and users over a network. Basically, we are going to study how do we identify the computers and users over a network. So, there are four components: MAC address, IP address, domain name and domain name resolution. You must have heard name of these, but now today we will explain them in detail. MAC address. We know that there are several nodes in a computer network. When we need to communicate between these nodes, we need to uniquely identify each node, and for this unique identification, we need the MAC address. Every NIC is provided a unique address by its manufacturer, and this unique address is known as MAC address. As we know that there are 7 layers in the OSI model, so the MAC addresses are used in one of the sublayer of the data link layer. This is basically giving the idea of how a MAC address looks like. So let us see it. As we can see here, first of all it is given the full form of MAC address, that is Media Access Control Address. And now it is an example of MAC address. Here we can see that there are 12 hexadecimal digits and the first part is the ID number of the NIC manufacturer and the second part represents the serial number assigned to the NIC by its manufacturer. IP address. Every machine in a network has another unique identifying number called its IP address. So every machine in a network has two unique addresses. One is MAC address and second is IP address. However, these both differ from each other. IP address is a group of 4 bytes, each of which can be a number from 0 to 255. The setting of a node can be changed by any user. That means the IP address settings of a node can be changed by the user. Here you can see these are the two versions of IP addresses. First is IP4 address and second is IP6 address. As the numbers of nodes increased, so the IP4 address version needed to be upgraded. So a new version came, that is IP6 address. This is the example of IP4 address and this is the example of IP6 address. Now let us understand the difference between IP address and MAC address. The IP address is assigned by the network administrator or the ISP, that is Internet Service Provider, while the MAC address, as we know, it is assigned by the NIC manufacturer. The IP address may change but the MAC address remains the same because the MAC address of the NIC is permanent. Here you can also see the difference of writing MAC address and IP address. This is MAC address and this is IP address. Domain name. As we know that it is impossible for a person to remember the IP addresses of all the computers that he has to communicate with. So there is a system named domain name system, and it maintains the database of these names and corresponding IP addresses. cbse.nic.in and indianrailway.gov.in are some examples of domain names. Domain name has usually more than one part. First is top level domain name and second is subdomain name. Here we will see and understand the part of domain name in this example. cbse.nic.in. .in is the primary domain name, that is the top level domain name. .nic is the subdomain of .in and CBSE is the subdomain of .nic. Now the top level domain name can also be divided into two categories. First is generic domain name and second is country specific domain name. The generic domain name are basically related to the organization, means if it is commercial, educational or governmental, and country specific domain names indicate the country, like .in indicates India, .uk represents the United Kingdom, and so on. Now next is domain name resolution. What is domain name resolution? It is basically the process of getting the corresponding IP address from domain name. In simple terms, we can say that it is the verification process of the typed URL and checking whether it is correct or not. Suppose that the user asks the DNS server to go to www.nameshield.net. Then the DNS server will check whether this URL is correct or not. And this is not a single stage process. It needs many steps. For it, it will go to DNS root server, DNS server of .net and DNS server of nameshield.net. And after the verification from all, it will verify it and then the user will get the result. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed this video.